In 3, 2, 1, we are live.
The monk, the neuroscientist, and me. Monk. What do you think?
Whoa, slow down, bro.
Sir,
Okay, big dog.
look at this. Okay. What do you think of the expression, I just made up? You are the interior decorator of your life. Would you buy the t-shirt?
Oh, I think it's great, Ruby.
No, you don't. You're lying. I know you. Okay, moving on. I am sure from the neuroscience point of view, in terms of relationships, it's our biology that drives us.
Relationship is a word that scares scientists. So let's call it mating behavior. We can look at 3 systems in the brain that drive us. And I'm simplifying it here, but it's helpful to break it down in this way. The first system is lust, and it's driven by adrenaline. This is a purely sexual drive. It's intense and short acting, and then it wears off.
I'm sure with lust, it's like my grade A drug.
Or any
You
grade A drug.
or any grade A drug. You're absolutely right. You have to keep upping the dose to get the kick. Eventually, you'll need to bring in the handcuffs and items of crouchless nature to keep the flag flying.
I wouldn't know.
Yes, you would.
No, I wouldn't know either.
No, you wouldn't.
Now, the second system is involved in romantic love, and the main chemical here is dopamine. Dopamine is part of the brain's reward system, so it's a strong driver of human behavior. That's why romantic love is so compelling. It's like a teenager's view of love. It's about obsession.
It's more about poems and putting out.
Yeah, well, I would say it's more about poems than putting out. It's less
You
about...
know what? It is more about poems than putting out. I
Exactly,
agree.
exactly.
Yes,
The
yes.
third system is attachment or pair bonding, and its main component is oxytocin. This kind of love isn't obsessive. You can think about other things beside your partner. It's motivated by caring for the other person rather than devouring them. These 3 systems should work in balance with each other on different time scales. Adrenaline works for minutes, dopamine lasts weeks to months, and oxytocin lasts from months to years. Oxytocin causes changes to brain connectivity over time, but even that fades eventually. Excuse me, I'm just going to talk to one of my lab assistants.
Okay. Because I have a question for you. Interesting. Wouldn't you say, Monk? So, what do you do when everything fades? A friend of mine wants to know.
Okay, sure. Well, you can boost your oxytocin levels with physical touch and orgasm.
But eventually, you'll have to stop because you would get vagina fatigue.
I hadn't considered that.
What if you don't have many orgasms? Do you still stay bonded? Friends of mine want to know.
Well, I think oxytocin can only be maintained when love is unconditional and less bound up with self-interest. But how many people truly experience that? There's so often
There's so often, Anne.
an undercurrent of an agenda, a need for validation from the other person. Validation. So an important point is to move beyond ego within the relationship.
That's exactly it.
Wow.
If couples can build a relationship, a real companionship, they can sustain higher levels of oxytocin over time.
Ash, what's your ideal relationship?
Well, give me just 2 seconds to think about that.
Okay.
Well, as a scientist, I'd say a couple of weeks of adrenaline, then a couple months of dopamine, and eventually a lifetime of oxytocin.
Turpin. Tupton. Tupton?
Uh-huh.
Tupton, yeah. Tupton. Are you just an oxytocin guy?
Yes, I think it's much more sustainable and meaningful. It's more to do with love than attachment.
What do you think is the difference between love and attachment? Chemically, they seem to be
Well,
similar.
attachment is often based on need. The problem is the more we grasp, the more deficient we feel. It's interesting how people say, "You complete me."
Mhm.
Well, aren't you complete? If you need someone so complete to complete you, then you're making yourself less than you are, and you'll always feel there's something missing. If the people can share happiness, that's a different story. And it can work, and actually, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. All we can do is make the decision to put the work in. A relationship isn't a thing, it's something you do.
Mm.
This is one of those places where an understanding of brain function can help people. If you know about the neurochemistry of love, you'll be less surprised and disappointed when the adrenaline and dopamine start to wear off. You won't think something tragic has happened and the relationship is doomed. It helps you to accept the evolution of love within a relationship, to know that it's going to change, and that change has a chemistry to it. Your biology ebbs and flows. If you ask people what their ideal of love is, they'll usually describe a kind of Romeo and Juliet relationship. So many books and films reinforce that. We're told we should be swept off our feet and that Celine Dion should be running through our heads on a 24-hour loop. So when that phase ends, people think the relationship is over. Maybe they get divorced because they can't recapture that feeling. But the head over heels feeling has nothing to do with the other person. You just want another hit of dopamine. It's an addiction.
Hmm. Tootin, you know, you said a relationship is about work. A friend of mine is asking, what's the work?
I think the work is about becoming more self aware, blaming the other person less and having more compassion. It's about mutual respect. If we don't start owning our stuff, the whole thing starts to crumble when the chemicals die off.
It's so hard to respect someone when everything that person does pisses you off. And even if you're not doing something right now, and even if he's not doing something right now, you go into the bank of memories and remember what pissed you off in the past. Ed, Ed,
Your husband.
yes, Ed can say to me, stop using that tone of voice. Sometimes I'm actually not using that voice, though most of the time I am. Ash, did you have that Romeo and Juliet thing when you met your wife?
I was never a believer in that thing before. But yes, I had it when I first met my wife. I walked in the room and immediately wanted to be with her.
Hmm. So, you did you think as a neuroscientist, oh, I know what this is. It's my adrenaline and dopamine. Did you analyze what was happening to you?
No, I didn't think anything. I just did everything I could to flirt with her.
I would think as a neuroscientist, you would have wanted to know why you felt why you feel what you feel.
I'm definitely curious, but when life is happening, neuroscientists have dumb human reactions like everyone else.
So you're unaware, like the rest of us. Do you know what attracted you to other women in the past?
With one ex girlfriend, it was her ass.
I thought you looked at the brain, for God's sake. What's your specialty? Not the other end. That's your specialty, not the other end. What was it about the ass?
I don't know. I guess it was shapely.
You are so shallow. Was it perk? Was it perk or what?
Just shapely. With my wife Susan, it was also a chemical thing. Either she drugged me or it was some mating chemical that made me want to have a child with her.
Why do you think we pick one partner over another?
There are probably a lot of reasons we choose a particular partner, but that initial instinctive draw might have to do with evolution and genetics.
So we're not just attracted by the smell of an alpha. like I was told.
No, it's not all about alphas and betas. Genetic studies show that people tend to be attracted to partners who complement them on a genetic level, who have a set of genes that they lack. It's magazines and television that teach us that only one look is attractive, even though biology pulls us toward diversity. I know a tall, beautiful woman who has always been attracted to short, bald guys. Her attraction to that type of guy is automatic, and to me, that's biology at work. But you don't have to be opposites. It's just that people tend to be attracted to mates with genetic traits they are lacking. That makes for healthier children with stronger immune systems. But it won't necessarily produce a good marriage.
What if you don't want to have children or can't, or you're gay? Are you still choosing a partner based on biology?
Yes, surprisingly, there is evidence that gay people are also attracted to genetically diverse partners. It's about biology driving attraction, not just reproduction. Your genes are trying to pair you with a mate, but that doesn't mean you're going to have children.
Mhm. Can I go back to this finding? Can I go back to this finding someone who's genetically different from you? You can't be more true. It can't. This couldn't be more true with Ed and me, as I have never ever seen Ed's face. He's 6'2", and I am a toadstool, completely not in my gene pool.
But if you could see Ed's face, I think you'd get along. It's clearly worked out because all your kids have the right numbers of fingers and toes.
Tubton, how have your relations changed as a monk?
Before I was a monk, I think there was quite a mercenary quality to my relationships. Looks were the currency, and it's often felt like a situation of buying and selling. I did have some long-term, more serious relationships, but I would get very attached. It was all so intense, and I would become quite obsessed.
Did you ever stalk anyone?
Oh, yes. I've been known to stalk if a phone call wasn't returned. Now, as a celibate monk, and with my mind in such a better place, I find that I can have so many warm and loving friendships. And because there's no agenda, I have relationships that feel so much more spiritual and enriching. Well, I'm not saying celibacy is for everyone. For one thing, the human race would die out. But it's very good if you're quite an intense person like me. I became a monk where you vow to be celibate, so I'd have less distractions, which means I can wholeheartedly serve others.
You'll find the relevant mindfulness exercise for relationships in chapter 11. What is he? Where is he now?
He's here.
No, what is he stepping on? Now
No. Oh.
Well,
Okay. Trying to open up the screen.